This is a project called Smalland that I worked on during its initial prototype phase before it was brought to publishers and ultimately sold to a different developer. So it's dressed in very different visual assets from where I looked at from when I was working on it. Essentially, I was responsible for character abilities such as combat, environmental system, interaction with the characters such as hunger, thirst, and temperature, and I did creature AI. So I programmed anthills, ants, and bees during that. The AI for the ants to allow them to line up and form ant lines as they left from the anthill to grab resources and bring them back to the anthill. The player could essentially interrupt the ant caravan and then raid it for whatever the ants were carrying. I haven't actually seen that in this trailer. Can't be sure if they've even preserved that. It's interesting how other developers will pick up. And here is a game I worked on for several years called Tide Turn. I took it from pitch to early access. I was responsible for implementing the gameplay ability system, the combat mechanics, the weapons, the UI, and above all, the painting mechanic. So I went with a voxel-based implementation, and we ran into some limits with Unreal's T-array maximum size. So I innovated some custom network solutions to get that data from player to server and back as fast as possible. Essentially, local predicted with rollback. Most abilities I implemented as I mentioned earlier, the gameplay ability system framework they were on. So then the junior programmers were also working on abilities on top of that, and sometimes I would do the abilities directly myself. I did the custom character movement component that handles the movement modes and player physics. Yeah, fairly proud of that work. This is a game called Swords of Gurrah. It is a VR melee combat game that I worked on during its initial phases. I handled the basic weapon mechanics, the control scheme with the motion controllers, and how shields and swords and blades interact.